so there was nothing, I went too far, right, and I had stuff.
It gets this far and it's actually this far and it just drives you to the whole.
Hey, come on down. We're gonna start soon.
Let's go.
Let's have the appropriate reverence for the message.
Anywhere comfortable here.
Everyone bow down first, slowly come in. Drop your little gifts here.
Fulfilling
Drop your
frustration.
gifts. No, just the gifts.
No.
The gifts, all right. Prostration, yes, there you go.
Anywhere.
That's it. You know, we were just doing a talk at this other event. And then coming here, it's sort of like the other event, they never heard the song Stairway to Heaven. And you're trying to explain, and in the beginning it's slow, and you're trying to talk about this great crescendo, but it's just pretty slow for a while. Da, 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 and they're like, wow, they can't imagine it. But then when you come back here, hopefully everyone has heard the message. And therefore it's easy just to, yeah, all you need to do is play a few first notes and everyone, oh, the greatest song of all time. So there it's more of an assault, yeah. Right, fucking, don't leave anyone alive. Bitch slapping go off. Cool. And they love it. They love it. More. Yeah. So, but now here, this is just a walk in the park. Yes. The coconut has hit everyone's head. They've realized they're never going to realize. Yeah. Because you already realized. Yes. Why do you want to redo something that's already in place? Yeah. You don't need tons of realizations. All you need is what's always realized. Yeah. Yeah, then realizations can come and go like everything else. You won't get flipped out, but just get the realization of it's always realized is pretty good. Yeah. So we just did this, we had a different stage, you know, because I had to have wore a different shirt because there were new people. Look a little better, you know, worked on the hair, had a virtual background, like, you know, a triple waterfall. Yeah.
Where was
Like
it,
this. And now here we are.
where was the
Zen
special
bitch slap.
event?
Yeah, now you see, there's nothing here.
Lean on that, if you want to do your stuff.
This is like a remnants of a men's group right now, you know. There's Amelia.
Amelia, get over here.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yes. All you do is change the location of the meeting and people are lost. It's amazing. And then we assume when we sit down, we're gonna, you know, we're gonna be able to understand the relics of history, and yet we can't remember. Where's the meeting this week? Is it what, 1 or 2 o'clock? Yeah. Let's go. All right, Mike, you want to start?
Yeah, we just wanted to stabilize.
I'll stabilize. Oh, yeah. You're the only thing that's moving. That's why isn't it stabilized?
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody turn that off, or I think, or someone.
I just muted him, so maybe that's okay.
Mute nor is hard. It's hard to mute.
Because I can't mute for the whole page, so.
Yeah, I think you're looking right at it. Yeah.
Yeah, let me quit this.
All right, let me, so, yeah, yeah.
It gives me a different screen.
We got the, oh, it's good now. It's done. All right. So anyone, hey, Mike Clark, nice to see you, bro. Yep. Bill
Good to be
Church,
here, Paul.
Paula, Kathleen, Dana, Jonathan Love, Frank G, David B, Topher, Ken, Miak, Axel, Kenneth, everybody. Very nice to see everyone today. It's like coming home to my little home Zoom, my home zoo. Yeah,
You wanna come?
yeah. So, oh yeah, we're here. It feels like home. It's appropriate. I'm at my house. Oh, wow. Look at Nora and Amelia. That scared me. Nor B. Yeah. Hey, anyone have any questions? If not, just go back to the basics. Like today, I had to speak at this group, and the topic of the day was like a day-long thing, not for me, but for the people. And it was addiction to self. Okay, so needs to have warnings. Exactly, because when you read addiction to self, there's a sense that it's you that's addicted to self. Yes, and that you shouldn't be addicted to self. So you got to do a lot of shit to break the addiction to self, which is the addiction to self. Yeah. So before you go off into anything, you have to have the right warnings, or it's going to be, you're going to see it differently. And this message is not in order. It's not a draft. We're not saying you have to do this, or who knows, you don't have to do shit really, because basically this too shall pass, this whole event, and it's like nothing ever happened. Just like when we go to sleep at night, are you worrying? There's a point when you're asleep, there's no Paul whatsoever there. That's the joy. You get relief from Paul. Yeah. You get relief from Ali enough that you can put up with Alia for another day. Can you imagine if you had sleep deprivation, you'd have an overload of Ali. That would be the problem. You would be blaming the sleep, but it's really the absence of Ali while you are asleep. Yeah. That's what sleep deprivation deprives us of, is that vacation from Ali. Yeah. Yeah, so true. So this happened with me. I heard non-duality, like I heard every other topic. There was me that heard it, and then it moved me or not. And then shoulds came up, and I better let me buy another book, a bigger book. I'm going to sign up for. I can't just go for a Friday. I need the whole week. I'm going to sign up for the week, and approached it like I approached everything else. And then hearing the message would question that approach. Yeah, it would say, who is it that showed up here? Just like when it's always a topic of debate where people want to know, is there free will or is it all predetermined? And then some people are slicker. They go, is there free will in the predetermination? So in other words, it's predetermined, but the free will is built in there, but it's predetermined. And so Ramana it was a question and answer in this little booklet. And Ramana, I felt it was a perfect answer. He said, wow, oh, Matthew, great to see Matthew. Yeah, come on in. Hey, honey, come here. We got some dogs now. Come in. We got the dogs just showed up. Yeah, there we go. We're not doing well financially, so I have to watch dogs on Saturday now from 1 to 5. I'm sorry. The dogs are running around. Just put up with it. Put up for a while. Yeah. So his answer was beautiful if you just follow it. So he diverts right from the free will and predetermination and goes to the real point. If there's a sense of individuality, yeah, if there's a sense of individuality. Now, does that mean a sense of individuality verifies that there's an individual? No. A sense can be manufactured, just like you can take a drug and you'll have a different sense of something. Yes, or here you are in a room, put on rose-colored glasses, you see it differently. Matthew, you're all cleaned up and shit. You went to the stylist. That's good, yeah. Unless you've been driving a very fast motorcycle. Puts it right there. So he goes, if there's a sense of individuality, there'll be a sense of free will. Now, everyone that seemed to be at that meeting was concerned about the free will, but not the sense of individuality. The sense of individuality is what produced the interest in the sense of free will. And it would have been the horse is out of the barn and there goes the meeting, because now it's going to be what's going to be subtly established is there is a you And the you either has free will or it's predetermined, but the you has now gotten established, and then the talk goes. Yeah. Instead, he just pulls the rug right from out from underneath him, doesn't say a word about free will, individual or predetermination. He says, if there's a sense of individuality, there's going to be a sense of free will. Yeah. So you can go to an no will meeting for a week, and then when you go to Baskin and Robbins, you're going to feel like you have a choice. There's going to be a sense that you went in there thinking you wanted to have vanilla, then you changed to mocha. Yeah. And then for the whole week of evidence, going to the wrong thing just gets disputed like that. It's not that which is taking itself to have free will is not going to get, it doesn't have free will. It's pointless to even talk to it, but to talk about it is great. So when you see that which believes it has free will is not you, the interest in that question is lost. You don't care about free will or predetermination. You're more concerned with, is there anyone there? Because again, you see the degree of importance drops unbelievably the more you go out, yeah, from the point. Yeah. And then this can get more and more important as the point goes farther away. When in fact, coming here, the point of all that doesn't mean shit. This is your established condition. Yeah. And then if the head goes there and head goes here, you did not go there, you did not go here. Though the language says what the head does is what you're doing, it's not true. Yes? Because the brain, as it says in the Course in Miracles, is interpreting this whole event to the body of which it is a part. So the brain is interpreting the act of doing as there must be a doer and that which was done. Yeah. That is program. That's not, it's mechanical. It's not AI. It's not going to advance. You might as well get off that dead horse. It's not gonna get it. That's the great news. The great news in non-duality is failure. Yeah, with the complete opposite reaction to it, which is hallelujah. Instead of failure and meaning I got to do more, do this. No, the failure is the success. Yeah, because it explains completely why you don't get it because you are it. Yeah, why all your arrivals are always greeted with on having never left. Yeah, so every time you arrive, it's as if you actually never left because you never left. Yeah, and so after a while, the mental logic gets pierced and shit comes in and shit goes out. Yeah, and now blue gets established as blue and red gets established as red. And you're very clear there's something else that's talking as if it's you. Yeah, and you're clear that it's a something else. You're not even interested in what it is, you're interested in what it's not, and that it's not you. That's where I felt the weight of the interest went. As soon as it was like, not me, I lost a lot of interest in it. Yeah, I didn't want to know what I am. I just want to know what I'm not. Because I humbly believe I always am what I am. As they said in I think the Bible, when they talked about what God said about itself, it says, I am that I am. Yeah. So I am that I am. Yeah? So the I am is it. The I am is that I am. There's no more discussion. There's no, there's a lot more coming. No, it's not I am and da 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 da. No, I am that I am. Simple. Yeah, you can have that grounding. Yeah, you have that grounding because it's true. This has been my humble experience. This became the last answer because it's the last answer, and actually, it's the first answer. And the first answer it answers all the drive to get an answer. Yeah. I thought if I knew something, it would help me get somewhere or get something. But in this fact, knowing something can't be applied to what we are because we're being it. All the quickest maps is like GPS. Almost all GPS now are just going to show you the quickest way. Yeah. Unless you punched in like scenic, but usually it's like the quickest way. That's all that's their agenda, and then this and that. See, but this isn't, you're not looking for the quickest way anymore. There's no way. Yeah. So you finally stop. And then there's an establishing, and then you're in this, the fucking river's moving, shit's happening, this and that. Yeah. But that sense of that I am, just like we talked about with using the example of you have a home and then you go to work. By going to work doesn't make you forget you have a home. Yeah. You're at work, which is not the home, but not being at the home doesn't make you forget that you have a home. This is a different kind of knowledge. It doesn't need to be right in front of you to know it. Yeah. It's knowing. There's a knowing of it. So you have a place to go home to. And no matter if the work goes overtime, more time doesn't dissuade you of that. Or if you have to go farther away to work, distance doesn't dissuade you from that. So time and space do not have a play. Yeah, because you know something. This is what the I am is like. It puts out a sense of knowledge before acquiring knowledge. It's like a pulsating something that if you're on a wavelength, you're going to hear it. Yeah, or there's going to be a hearing of it. You're not going to hear it. You're going to be what's heard about, really. Yeah, and then the whole thing's going to flip around. Instead of you trying to find out about a lot of shit's going to be about finding out about you. And the study and the work goes down when you study about you, because it becomes obvious you've had enough samples that all of it is not you. Yeah, there is a point where it leaps. You don't have to get every evidence every day to hit like a critical mass, then it's forgotten, and then you have to build up evidence next day. No, this knowing travels through time. Yeah. You travels through time. You don't have to remember the same thing the next day. You're in a remembrance, let's say, of it. Yeah. Yeah. So now you're walking around doing whatever's happening, but there's a vague but very strong sense you're always here. Always here. You're never gone. You're always here, asleep, awake, whatever, you're here. So there's this here that isn't predetermined by outer conditions. It's that which is unconditional. Yeah. You're here and now. And then obviously you start seeing that every activity that goes on never escapes the here and now, ever. When you're worrying about the future, you're not in the future worrying about it. You're worrying about it now. When you're going over the past, you're not in the past, even though you believe, oh, I've time traveled to the past. You're not. You're here now, and you're always here now. Yeah. So it was wild that they had to make a book, Be Here Now, implying how out to lunch we are. I mean, and then made people made it into a path and efforting. Do it look like I'm being here now? Wait a minute. Now. No, tell me when. You can tell I'm not being here now. Can you tell when I'm being here now? Wait. I left my anus. I left my sphincter muscle. I let go. Be here now. No. All the hijinks cannot escape the be here now. What's the great wisdom of no escape? That's the great wisdom of no escape. Yeah. There's no escape from the here and now, and you can't get out of what you're not in. Yeah. So the whole drive to find what you are by using it to look for itself. Yeah. So the drive to get in of what you're not, to get into what you're not out of, and to get out of what you're not in shifts. Yeah. It just does. It doesn't have to be shift. It's just an imagined posture that you see through. The horse has never been behind the cart. You have been seeing it as if it's behind the cart. That's true in this dreaming, but only in the dreaming. When there's a coming to, you recognize the horse is always in front of the cart. The cart cannot move without the horse. It's just a cart. Yeah. The cart's not moving the horse is moving the cart. It doesn't go horse moving cart, cart moving horse. No, it doesn't switch. It's very clear. And when things rearrange, you realize they've always been this way. truly. So now when you go back to the seeing things differently, there's that understanding, an underlying sense of what's so, while your head is trying to make sense of what's not so. They're just, you'll find it sooner or later. It's going to percolate and it's going to grow and it's reliable. Yeah. So when you see this too shall pass, we have an old AA uses it a lot. You realize, yes, everything, you included. This too shall pass. It's just, this is, you know, as soon as they're coming in, they're going out. Just the way it goes. This too shall pass. But the only thing that could actually say that is that which doesn't pass. It's not saying I too shall pass. It says this too shall pass. So that which I can witness and see is going to pass. That which is seeing and witnessing is not going to come to pass. Yes. Now you have that, not as an intellectual trick, but you established. It has a sense, like firmament almost. You know, you build a house on something solid, it feels like it. Yeah. Yeah. This guy bought this house and there's a river under it. There's almost like a lake. And so they're pumping it all the time. You walk by the house, it's gurgling up and he didn't know it when he bought the house, but there's like a lake under the foundation. So his concerns he doesn't come and look at the house. He looks he looks at the ground. That's getting closer. Yeah, getting closer because the house is dependent on what it's resting on. Didn't know what was going on there. Now the price of the house has gone yes, is exactly, wow. Yeah. So this is like first things first in a way. What is before everything, yeah, is the starting point. We're not an afterthought. We are before thought. Yeah. We're not an afterthought. We're before thought. So now you have the eyes to see. It's just your positioning is off, so to speak. Yeah. Because the awareness has been told that you are the Alpha and Omega. And when you look back, all you see is you. So basically, it's your own nature is hidden in a sense by this mental activity. Because this before isn't. This is not the beginning of anything. This isn't the beginning of anything. So there is a before, and you would call the before not of time. So the timelessness of what we are, we can see from there. It's not me and you seeing, but there's a seeing from there of the manufacturing in time of what we're not. And all you have to do, not herald what you are, chant what you are, praise what you are, just tell the truth about what you're not. And then you'll be the praising of what you are. You'll be yes. It won't be like a call for, it's not like, oh, I see what I'm not, and now I start looking for what I am. No, there's only one move. You see what you're not, and there's no looking for what you are because you are what's looking. Yeah. So out of this dualistic movement, it's been extinguished. There's only one movement. You see what you're not. There's not a switch now you'd start seeing what you are. You don't. You see what you're not, and you are the seeing of what you're not. Yeah. So there's no two. So the not two has been negated. Yeah. And there you are. Yeah. As always. And it's good. The head is untethered and it's just roaming around the seas of yesterday and tomorrow. And all of its anchors don't grab anything. And it's being buffeted by all this shit and that. There's going to be an irritable, restless discontent. And there's going to be a drive to seek for fucking relief. Because it seems like the natural thing to do. And that movement of seeking is going to hide you are that which you're looking for. Yeah. So when this message establishes what you're not, and then you see a migration of interest from there, where you could never see that from self because self was full of interest. It can't see itself in lack of interest because there's nothing to see, literally. Yeah. So now you're seeing that which you used to look from, and the fear that and the anxiety that which we used to look from provokes isn't being provoked anymore. You still may have the tremors and the shit in the body still stored, but in fact, you're not at the effect of it as much. You grow out of it. Yeah. 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 And now you learn you can face life successfully. And basically, my idea of life getting great was that everything was going to go my way. But my idea now is that I'm going to travel through whatever life has in store for the action figure in a lighter version. Yeah. And to me, that's workable. The other thing was just magical thinking, like, oh, everything, no. Well, incredibly self-centered. Yeah. So here I can just sing that song and I have a bad voice, but a few notes and everyone starts singing along. When you meet a new group, you've got to sort of go over the chorus and, and here comes the crescendo. Wait for it. Down. Here it's just like, oh, I've heard this song before, and then you can go right into it. Yeah, this is the beauty of satsang. Satsang can make you familiar to that which most of the day isn't been made familiar. Yeah, so you take a break, you come to satsang, you feel different. There's no heavy lifting, yet something gets lifted. And you start recognizing there's other ways this place can move. Yeah, there's other ways it can go. It doesn't have to go this one fucking well-worn, fucking trough. It can, this groove, it can not break out, it just moves out. Yeah, because to pull that water down that tributary has been broken. You don't think you're the sea anymore. You don't think you're the ocean. You don't think you're the source of everything. You know you're the source of everything. It's something else. You don't think it. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm stoked. I'm getting intoxicated by the incense. It's good. The dogs are great. They're in the dog world. Look at them. They're having a great time. They're meeting each other. She's like, ah, da, 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 da. The other one's like, what the fuck? Doesn't matter. You can tell the older one and the younger one. Yeah. So here, you're the older satsangers and the younger satsangers. Tons of questions. What? Here, no questions, You smell the ass. You smelled the ass already. Just like, yeah. You know where all the shit comes from. You're clear it's not you. Yeah, you just enjoy the satsang. So, all right, Mike. Yeah, let's open it up.
Okay. Anybody want to wave their hand?
To say if there's no.
Yeah, Nora may have a question, but let's see if you have a question out here.
Anybody want to go before Nor?
Please.
David.
David.
Who steps up.
David.
Hey,
All right,
Paul.
David. No, Nora, you're next. David, what's going on?
No, I just was curious. So when you're talking about that and you're talking about what you're not, I was wondering if you could riff on like creativity, because what you are, being ourselves reality, is in the process of, creation and manifestation. It's a creative process. And I've also noticed that, the same old patterns of identification can flow through that as well. And I just wondered if you could riff a little bit on creativity. That makes sense.
One thing I like the way the Course of Miracles uses the word create and make. It says the mind of God can only create and the mind of man makes.
Right.
So we make stuff.
Makes.
Yeah. And the whole point is the making is a process without a need of a maker. So you just question the maker,
Right.
which is going to be claimed by the head through the making. So if there's some making going on, you're going to be seen as the maker. Then you take that step, you see you're not the maker, and it'll probably be easier for the making to go on. Yeah, and then you don't own the product at the beginning of it nor at the end of it. This is how it happened with me. I got it very strongly because I was totally insane. Got sober in 1988. 91, a guy had this meeting and he wanted me to lead the meeting. And I didn't think I was equipped to do it. Yeah, because from my view of me as me, I think that disqualified me from many things, right? So he said, no, just go there and start doing it. So third year, I took this thing, and it was based on this very important step called the fourth step, which is taking an inventory of really the manifestations of self and how you've been defeated by them in your life. It's really about recognizing the foreignness that has been running your life and telling the truth about its manifestations, because that's how you see what has defeated you, through the manifestations. So the common ones would be resentment, anxiety, or fear, and harming other people in the pursuit of what I want. So being inconsiderate and selfish. Yes. So you would do this with the point not to see what you did, but to see what self had done through you. This idea of self, very clearly a difference. Yeah. And it brought a lot of knowledge to you, very much a lot of knowledge. So I was running this thing, and basically it was just like study hall. When I got there, people were doing a written inventory, and do you have a pencil? Here's an eraser, walk around and see, B plus, like that. And then I was hearing a lot of information because I was open now. I was available, and information was catching up to me. And I was just like fucking going off, like life was just exploding me. So the meeting changed a lot, where people would bring the pen and paper. We did no more writing. And I just emphasized the foreignness of what had defeated us. Yeah. I saw self represented something foreign to me, and I was going to look at its manifestations in my life so I could see they weren't my manifestations, and place the onus on that which had defeated me, not carry that defeat as a doer for 40 fucking years in sobriety. Yeah. And there was so much support in that view that was very rarely talked about, that you're driven by 100 forms of fear, let's say. That implies you're not the driver. Yes. You're going to have self-imposed crises, not you imposing it. This idea of self is imposing calamity in your life quite a lot. Yeah. And the fact is, every time we're being defeated by its manifestations, we're calling them ours. So humbly to me, it wrapped itself into the head, which we're relying on, is in the act of being identified as this idea, pictured as a thing, but the ideas that are pictured as a thing as doer, thinker, seer, hearer, feeler, taster, toucher. Yes? All that. So all those activities are represented by an image called this body. I saw it like that, and that there was relief, because I found as soon as I saw that which has defeated me as not me, I could be free from it. Wow. It was like living in a house, and the front door was locked with like 12 locks, and I couldn't get it out, but the back door was wide open. I just didn't know there was a back door. I needed to hear it. I didn't hear it from people. I got it from a download, but I looked at the back door, and the door was fucking open. Why the fuck am I trying to get out this way when I can get out this way? Exactly. I was trying to get out of self as self. I was in the act of being identified as self. Was I identified as self? No, I'd never been. But I was entertaining the act of being identified as self with great faith. Yeah. And therefore, when self manifested in my life through me, I called them mine. I was bound to this idea of self, and it was fucking choking the life out of me. And I saw the bondage, let's say the chain, and looked just like your chain, the other alcoholic at the meeting, or the other addict. And I saw the commonality of the defeat, even though it's taken very uniquely personal, it's a common defeat. Many, many people get taken over by this driver. Yeah. And this driver, yeah, it's like one of these driverless cars, and this car of self is a driverless car, but you picture you driving it. It's not you driving it, it's self-driven, and you're driven just like everyone else gets driven. And it was so obvious in our community that a lot of people I know, everyone thinking unique and everything, they all end up in the same 3 parking places: institution, jails, and death. And you're going, wait a minute, we all start out on these unique journeys and we end up at the same fucking place. There's got to be one driver that's driving the fleet. It was clear as day, and it's never not been clear ever since then. So there I was doing those talks, and I was in a lot of different conditions. I had, early on, I think at that age, I was probably before that, but I had it, when you took an AIDS test back then, it took 3 weeks. So you finally suited up and became responsible for you in the past, and then you had to wait 3 weeks to find out. So you could have really not had a good time those 3 weeks, because I was intravenous user. I looked like a prime candidate to have it, but I was engaged in this thing and none of that shit came up. I was in all these different conditions, and I would go to the meeting and the prior condition would override all the contemporary conditions. Yeah. So something would move through me that didn't need me to give it permission to move through me. Yeah. In other words, I didn't have to have a matching condition for this condition to express itself. It did it every fucking Monday for 16 years. And I was in a lot of different Mondays and a lot of different conditions in those Mondays. Yet if I just was willing to show up, it would come through. So it became very clear I had absolutely nothing to do with this. And it's stuck since then I got into the glorious career of non-duality, inviting, and shit, man, my head could have gotten swollen, but of course I didn't. My band died. I play at, fucking empty bars and shit. So my head couldn't expand that much because no one listening to me to begin with. And then after I talk, people would just have their overriding view. It didn't matter what I say. So it doesn't, man. It doesn't. You just say it from this. It's just it's a drive to express. Yeah. And it's actually, I must have needed satsang quite a lot because I've been on a lot of satsangs. I have. I've never missed a Paul Hedderman meeting, ever. Yet I've never attended one, which is great. That's the good things. So, yeah. So luckily that was easy for me because it was obvious something was coming through, and it wasn't under my ownership or my corporate brand or anything like that. And so and because we're small, it gives you the liberty of just being chilled. Yes. Yes. Can you imagine if someone thinks you're the messenger, you're the message, and then you go into dementia? It's happening all over. Noor just talked about it. Some person with all this thing, and now they don't know if their pants are in the front or the back. They're completely out to lunch. It wasn't a person. No one was that. No one has been that as a person. Ever. Yeah. So the person may have 4 cameo appearances. It may be a nice kid from a nice family, then go fucking crazy, then do this, and then go into dementia. That was the rollout of the action figure. So people get surprised when someone they thought was enlightened now is demented because they weren't enlightened and they're not demented. There's just the expression of enlightenment and the expression of dementia. There's no owner, there's no one behind there doing it and should have not done it. Yeah. Oh, I chose to become dementia. No, it just happens. Yes. So the freedom is from the ownership of things. Yeah. The freedom is, and I don't mean the ownership of like cars. I mean the ownership of thoughts, the ownerships of feelings, the ownership of actions, the ownerships of opinions, the ownership of all this. Yeah. That's where the looseness is, not in changing your opinions, but losing interest in having an opinion, being the one who has an opinion. Yes. You can never imagine it because where we're imagining the absence of it is the presence of self. So while we're presently seemingly in self, we're trying to imagine what it would be like with its absence. You can't, because you're the biggest head in the picture. Yeah. But when the interest that's making your life moves, almost like a huge migration, and starts going places you never would have ever come up with to direct it that way. Yeah. And then you just are really almost like an experiment. And then the experiment can observe the experiment, and you realize, Jesus Christ, that was it. The bondage of self. Yeah. Because you've been relieved of it. And therefore you come here and you feel pretty obviously my coming here is not based on my condition. If it was, I wouldn't have come here quite a lot of times. But because I just come here because the action figure will put its seat down and turn on the Zoom, and there you go. And to the action figure, it's like a big hole. Nothing happens for it this hour or so. Yet what's cool is everything it's concerned with is forgotten also. So if I have pain or something else, that's all forgotten. When it's forgotten, all that it's remembering is forgotten. It's great. Now it wants to forget all that it's remembering, but still being remembered. But when you lose interest in it, you lose interest in what it's remembering. Because what it's remembering is to have interest in it. And so I always, since I first started doing it, whatever condition I was in, it would be removed. I would forget it for that hour or so. And maybe I'd get a half-hour bonus when I left. And then the shit would come back. Yeah. But I kept seeing it over and over again. I'd be super fucking ill, and then I didn't feel anything. And as soon as I left the head, yeah. Then there was a loss of interest in self. And then I started feeling what I was feeling doing the talks, but I wasn't the feeler of it. But I do. I feel it more than when I had that grace of absence. I feel my condition now because it's not my condition. Yeah. So I had to give a free sample of it not being so, and now it can be so because it's not so. Yeah, you see it? Yeah. Yeah, so just stick around. Especially you're gonna get this good desserts and coffee. And for the people in the Zoom, hey, move to Novato. Move to Novato.
Just remember,
Make a pilgrimage.
you're not the one enjoying.
Make a pilgrimage. Visit us. Yes. Yeah. All right. Anyone, Mike? Jonathan Love has raised his hand. That's not actually true. A virtual hand went up. Jonathan Love has not raised their hand. Oh, Nora, come on. All right, sorry. I try to,
Oh, no?
no.
Hey, this is pretty good because I've held this question for 3 weeks. So there.
All right, let's go.
Because it keeps being forgotten.
That's good.
But yeah, that sense of individuality and the sense of choice that comes from it, I was feeling 3 weeks ago, and it keeps, feeling itself whenever this example is mentioned, that what that also is the avoidance of the deathless, of deep reality. Like it's a kind of apparently active avoidance. It's
Yeah.
not just passive. It's actually what we do to stay away from the moment.
Well, yes, that is very active all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, until the habit is formed, then it can look like it's passive, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to be constantly in the moment and denying that. It's a lot of work. Yeah, so this is what the Course says when there's a denying of what you're not. And if you walked up to anyone today walking around and you say, I caught you in the act of denying what you are. No, they would, what? I'm just going to the store. But there was a you going to the store, and the store going was being used to reinforce the you. And in a sense, that act was a denial of what you are. Yeah. So it says here, we just read it here, active denial of what you are, and then firm in faith in this something else that your head has made to be yourself.
Right.
And now you take it. Why wouldn't you? You have confidence in it because you gave it the job, and you don't think you're a complete loser or an asshole. And then it's informing you of how it sees life, and you wouldn't suspect, but now you do. Usually because the shit hit the fan, and the failedness leaked through, and you realize something I'm relying on or as is not working. It's failed. Now, usually that propels you to work on it. And I hope that you hit non-duality. Well, you'll question that which is demanding work on it and see you're not that. Seriously. Because
the thing is, what looks like decisions continuing to be made don't feel like decisions anymore, but they don't stop. Those decisions.
No, of course not. You're an action
figure. You always said they smooth out.
You're an action figure,
It's done
yes.
A lot.
Yes. See, not being an action figure doesn't stop the action.
Right.
This is what happens when people, they hear that they're not the doer, they think that just happened. Oh, I'm not the doer now? And then it's, oh, I'm gonna just lay on a couch all day. No, you've not been a doer the whole time. All the doing that you
Right.
call your life was happening. It's not like it's just stopped now. Yeah, I'm not the doer. Sleep,
Was that scary?
drink.
Was that ever super scary for you? I mean, for me, a lot of my core, whatever you want to call it, resistance is fear of that. It's
Yeah.
like fear of
Well, let's
losing.
say you had fear for 9 months straight.
You get tired of it.
Something was gonna break.
Yeah.
Either the spell of that fear around it would break or you die, or yes.
Yeah.
And so basically, if you see the person still here, something happened.
Well, nowadays it's more like those horror shows you like so much. It's
Well,
just a
yeah.
show. It's really a fear show, not a real fear.
Well, the horror show is a way of escaping the horror show we're in.
Yeah.
I mean, what better way to escape a horror show than watch another horror show? Seriously. I mean, serious. I mean, what in this dreaming, the dreaming is, can get pretty fucking rude in a lot of ways. Yeah. So
you do have a practice.
now practice is horror, but the problem is it's hard to, I have to go back to old reliables like the Autopsy of Jane Doe, which I recommend. Autopsy of Jane Doe is very good. So yeah. No, I just like horror movies.
Yeah.
Like a little kid, I watched, we had a show in Long Island, in New York, called $1 Million Movie. It was on Channel 9, and it's all it did was show old movies. So they had absolutely no production costs. They just showed the same movie. And so you could see King Kong like 30 times in a week. They'd play the same movie every other hour, and then the whole Saturday, Sunday. So basically you had a whole week of King Kong. I swear to God. So, and it was a channel. I mean, it was probably some guy living in a cave and had a PO box getting all this money because they didn't do shit. There's this is just old movies just play you to death. And you're a kid, so you're watching, The Eye, that, there was like The Terror from Outer Space. I saw that 30 times. So you'd see this shit, and they'd have a guy come out of a coffin, and he'd be the announcer, and they'd have 4 straight horror movies in a row, and tons of I wanted to escape since I was young. Now I've escaped by the wisdom of no escape. Seriously, I have escaped here with the wisdom of no escape. I have. I remember it was almost, I saw it in a way, it finally ended in a way. My head was hell bent on splitting here. Not killing myself, but going somewhere better or wherever you believed. And it had a strong drive. And then it just ended. And then I was really here, being really here. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. But it was a battle for years. It really wanted to go. That's every time I shot drugs and shit was the same thing. I just wanted to get out of here. We were overdosing on purpose because I really didn't want to kill myself, but I wouldn't have mind dying through an overdose. I wouldn't have. I mean, I did it so many times. The only reason that stopped you was because at that point of being high, you were shaking. So someone else would have to shoot you up. And that someone else would be looking at you and then see your eyes and not push the whole thing in. They knew better. You wanted the whole shot. You were definitely going to die. And they saw you start, and then they didn't pull it. And then you'd be pissed at them.
Did you know you were overdosing though?
Oh, yes.
When you were overdosing, did you actually know I'm overdosing when you were overdosing? Or is it just like dying, you weren't there?
No, what the thing with the coke is you'd start flapping like a fish. It would almost kick you off your chair and you'd be really tripping. And the only thing that would stop it would be if I was with my girlfriend, she'd put her hand on my shoulder and would keep me here.
So during
But
that,
she
you were
didn't.
conscious. that
Oh,
you were
yeah.
about to-
For sure. I was hoping to get a 30-second break before I died. I really did. I thought I'd be free of Paul and still be here for 30 seconds or something, and it seemed worth it.
So
Really,
you
literally.
never got the break, you just got the.
No, I didn't. I woke up and the cops were there.
Well,
And the same fucking movies played. So when I say you can't escape from an imaginary place, I have a lot of evidence. That's evidence-based, advice. I'm not coming out of a book, evidence-based. I attempted to transcend this place in a lot of mechanisms, spirituality, high fucking peak hallucinations, deprives meditating 13 hours a day, tons of shit. And I'll tell you, you can't escape from an imaginary place as an imaginary person. So the great wisdom of no escape is there's no escape from an imaginary place. So finally I landed here and I opened up here. Yeah. Yeah. I'm completely here, which is mind-boggling because I was always checking out, always, every second. Yeah, I'd be at a party, I'd have a book, I'd be reading the book. It's just fucking out. Yeah, now completely here because I cannot not be here. Yeah, and the true grace is really realizing if this was me, the urban renewal project would never end. But it's not me. That's the great relief. I got relief here as me by realizing I'm not me.
Right.
It brought about the greatest relief for the me to have been realized as not me. Really, the action figure has been thriving. My health changed. A lot of shit changed. I can't believe it. Seriously. Everything got so much better when I wasn't there. And the fact is, I wasn't there to start with.
Right.
This wasn't a new revelation. It was an old fucking denial. Really. It doesn't say, it says in denying what we are. It doesn't say you're not what you are. There's a denying of what you are. They're different. So what you are is always there. There can be an act of denying what you are, but that doesn't erase what you are. It doesn't
Did you deny
make it
that
extinct.
because you wanted to enjoy
What?
what you're not for a while?
Hmm?
Did you deny what you are because you wanted to enjoy what you're not for a while?
No, I think for me, I didn't know any better. I didn't know, I had a voice. Well, you want me to get into it? This is all a story. But when I was young, I lost my two important people when I was 9, my father and my grandmother. My grandmother lived with us. She brought me up basically with my mother and my father. And my father was my father. So they died when I was 9 years old. Now, before they died, only a couple months between. Yep. So I had a nun, a sister at school called Sister Marie Neal. Sister Marie Neal had her desk, and I was in a line with her desk. And I was like the third seat. Yeah, and I remember I went in there every day, sat on that third thing. Then I had these things happen, and then when I came back to school, and I sat in there, Sister Marie Neal was like fucking miles away. She was in the same physical location, but I was way gone. I mean, I had taken shelter from the head, seriously. And she looked like she was millions of miles away. I wasn't hearing fucking anything. I was just listening to the head. Unbelievably. Yeah. So and that head is like the God of an Old Testament. It's a very jealous God. It doesn't want to brook any other possibility. And I had no idea. I thought I had one voice telling me what to do, and it was on my side. And it was looking out for me. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But I had to get my ass kicked. I don't know what brought it about. I don't think anything brings it about. It may look like it's brought about, but it already is, so it can't be brought about. But in the narrative, it looks like something happened and you were brought there. But when you're there, you realize it's always been the case. And it was basically a possibility. Just like I was introduced when I saw it as foreign in recovery, I saw the possibility of being free from it became available. It was handcuffed when I was trying to be free as it. It was. I was trying to be free as that which I wanted to be free from. That needed to be corrected. Once it was corrected, it was clear I'm not that. And I started to live a life of being relieved from that idea of self. And then non-duality was the clincher. I wasn't looking for non-duality. I had no idea of non-duality. I just heard people talking about these meetings in Berkeley. This lady Neelam was giving a talk, and I went to, that's the first satsang I went. Didn't hear a word she said. She spoke very, you couldn't hear her, really. But I felt the presence of something, and it was like an unspoken yes, and then ran into a book by Ramesh Balsekar, Who Cares? And I was off and running because I'd be reading it and my mind would get stopped because what they were describing, I had never heard. You are what you're looking for. What? Because I was definitely driven by looking for a lot of shit. This was a message that was so beautiful. You are what you're looking for. What a fucking relief, you know? Just incredible. And it just was followed by more relief. And now the relief is normal. I have relief in the relief. Yeah. I have experiences when pain gets relieved, but the relief is, yes, there's a relief as a condition, a base, and then there's relief in things. Yeah. That relief that used to be irritable, restless, and discontent is just, it's satisfied and content. Yeah. You can rest your head there and get some rest and some peace. Yeah. This is all the reason why we're passing this on. If something had worked for me, I would have shared that. But this is how it worked. I had a little bit of interest. I had a tons of evidence. I just needed the right understanding. And in this case, the right understanding was non-duality. Now, a lot of non-duality, I don't believe is being presented in a non-dual way. I think it's presented in a dualistic way, and it's easy to see you're going to have to do something and do this and do that. I'm just not a believer in that. Yeah, I'm not. So, but if there's going to be doing, and use the doing to see that there's not a doer. What better way to use doing than to invalidate the idea of being the doer? That's what's the beauty of this, is you're going to use that which used to support the story of you as the negation of the story of you. Yeah, not changing anything, just how you receive it. Instead of receiving it as me, and I don't want to be that, I need to do this, you're going to receive it as not you. And the effects are hugely different. Yeah, this is what the gift of non-duality is. The gift of non-duality says you already have the gift. It does. It says it's been sitting under the tree for all these fucking years. Here's the way to open it. Yeah. And to me, the way is negation. When I was a kid, we used it today. Every week, because we were in Catholic school, they'd have an hour where they went over God. You know, and they'd always have the three qualities of God. He's omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. Yeah. So he's all powerful, all knowing, and he's everywhere. And I was 8 years old, 7 years old, 9 years old. I was amazed. Why am I not bumping into God? I seem to be here, and he's supposed to be all here. What? I'm running into people I don't want to see. I can't seem to run into God. So obviously, there's something going on that's obscuring the obvious fact that we are what we're looking for. To me, it seems to have more sway than the fact we are what we're looking for. So we need to hear a message about that so that we can just slide into we are what we're looking for. We need to have a description of what we're fucking not. Being what we are in duality, we need a description of what we're not, because we seem to be living as what we're not. Yeah. Simple correction. And the correction's not even needed because nothing ever really did anything to change that you are what you are. But in this dreaming, and this place can feel real, that separation, that weight, that timelessness can lay very heavy on you. And in a way, the great value here is to travel lighter to whatever life has in store for you. We don't know the story of our lives. Yeah, we're going to have to greet it. And if you have the ability to travel lighter through it, it doesn't matter what you're going to travel through, you're going to do it lighter. This is the message, yes? It has great value here without any intending value here. Because we are the message, entertaining the message in time and space. And that beautiful message of what we are brings a lightness you can't find in time and space. It can be brought into time and space by us, but you can't find it in time and space. Everything's fucking moving on and on and on. Yeah. Yes. So here's the message. It's a joy because, like the Course says, the best way to learn is to teach. And in AA, you have it by giving it away. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is like a wind. It wasn't produced by the sail. You're a sail, I'm a sail. There's one wind blowing us, yes? I'm telling you what it's like to be blown by this wind so you can recognize what it's like to be blown by this wind. And how you want to, when you get established in that, is through seeing what you're not. Because in time and space, it seems to have the upper hand. Being ourselves reality, the greatest mystery is still reality wanting to attain reality. That's what Ramana said, the greatest mystery, reality, and Paul and Amelia, AKA reality, wanting to attain reality. Yes, so, yeah. I went with it and it's proven itself. I was wearing, spiritual pants fall down as they may. I just stepped out of them. And at one moment I was looking for the next new person coming in town. I didn't go to another satsang, just stopped. Really triggered by that guy, our friend, Adyashanti, Chris's friend. I didn't know him much, but I was at one of his talks and he was from the Zen lineage and he said something and he started laughing. It was sound like a real authentic laugh. And he was saying, I'm like a man selling water by the river. Yeah. And then he says, it's even funnier that I'm like a man standing in the river selling water. I heard that and I left and that was that. Because I finally felt the wetness that I am instead of the belief that I'm driving to get wet. I realized, fuck that, I'm wet. Bye-bye. I'm going to do some swimming in the river. I'm not going to buy water. The last thing I'm going to do in the river is buy water. Yeah. The last thing I'm going to do is look for what I already am. That's the last fucking thing I'm going to do. There's no way that's happening. I've been convinced, yes. I'm going to ski, I'm going to dive under, I'm going to snorkel, I'm going to lay on my back, I'm going to fish, but I ain't going to buy water in the river. So, all right, thank you. I think we're going to call it a day. Eh?
Oh, or the pretty trees that have raised their hand.
Questions, yeah. The questions.
Where'd you go?
It's Jonathan Love, I think.
Yes,
Oh, there it is.
there's
Come
my
on.
hand. Okay. Hey, Paul and everybody. Yeah, I was laughing at Adyashanti thing because I went to one of his talks in Santa Cruz, and I was walking up there. I saw a friend of mine from work, and I said, "Oh, did you come to see the man standing in a lake in the rain selling water?" She looked at me like I was crazy.
You lost a friend.
No.
He didn't save you a seat.
Right. I actually, it was funny. That was years ago, but there was no one around by his book table, and I took one of his books.
Oh,
yeah. Confession. But no, this has
I'll
to
call
do
him
with,
up and tell him.
yeah.
Yeah.
He'll say, so what?
He's counted those books that day.
Right.
Listening. I found him.
I was gonna share.
I found him. He's got another name. Get this, Jonathan Love. Get this. Okay. All right. More late than ever.
But anyway, I've been talking to you about this and following the subtle command to just see what I'm not. And so it was mostly focused on thoughts, and then I started to see it was just pretty much everything. And through that exercise, it was, you know, it was fizzling, it was screaming, it was and it still is, because this is, I'm back to the dreaming, and with that metaphor really works. So I looked into that James guy that he was with Ramana for a long time. He explains things and the dream thing, and then I stopped. It kind of slowed down. I stopped seeing what I was not, and I just kind of went back into more just sentience, and a lot of things calmed down, and I love the Ramana stuff, because one thing I wanted to ask you about was, he said that between the inert body and pure consciousness mysteriously arises this hybrid entity that I'm kind of paraphrasing him, that has everything to do, that is like repugnant about life, you know. And because, you know, I've been a real research head too, and the things going on, I just like I'm just like and so as a child, and then we start to claim, I'm seeing that as it's a form of like insanity, from what Ramana said. You know, the dream, I mean, for some people, they just just really dig it. But I went from, like, you know, not liking, you know, the whole totalitarian thing, all that, the coming of age of you know, the George Orwell and the other guy, Brave New World, seems more like that to me. But it doesn't really have much of a punch for me. I'm still not going to line up to, you know, you'd be poisoned, or, you know, or eat things with a big long list. But, you know, here I'm smoking an organic cigarette, you know. So it seems like, even it seems like, you know, and it can build up. It seems like it's a real thing, but I think it's just like the first stepping stone to just like insanity, like Ramana said, just like everything that's just like.
But Jonathan, excuse me, let me just jump in there.
Yeah. I'm kind of
Keep
done.
it simple and just recognize, because, you know, Ramana would speak a lot of things, and he would say, you have the ball, you can run only so far, and then grace picks it up.
Right.
And to tell you the truth, I think you can put the ball down really fast and grace will pick it up. You don't have to run with it that far. Yeah. You got the scent or the smell of it, you know the direction. Put the ball, the grace isn't waiting for you to run a certain way. If you put the ball down now, it will pick it up. And so we're just trying to keep it simple here, because there is an activity that's going to go on no matter what, as long as you're alive. And that activity of the selfing has been put to certain use, and it can be put to another use. Instead of affirming itself constantly, its constant activity can negate itself, because it's the audience that gives it the yay or nay, and we're the audience of awareness. And now we've been introduced to, like, self-inquiry by Ramana. which, and then, or just the recognition of all that's just going on. You're not doing it, you're not setting it up, you're not ba-da-da, but it's going on, and it has usually been reacted to in a certain way. That reacting to it is part of it. We're negating it now. We're not going to be playing a role of a cheerleader and then getting more orders of what we have to do or should have done in this and that. We're going to stop the fucking parade, and there's going to be a negation. Yeah, we're going to use the same parade and arrive at a point which is before it, which is I'm not that. That's it. Yeah. So let's just keep it simple. The idea of this and then something, first of all, there's not a separate entity. I don't believe there's any entities in dreaming. Dreaming, there's an appearance of things, but I don't think there are things that are appearing. I just don't. I think there's an appearance of things. I'm a believer, sort of like the Course in Miracles says, the mind projects and then the body here perceives. Yeah. So the dreaming is perceived through the lens of a body, and we think it's reality. Yes, but we are the dreaming. Yeah? And the dreaming is projecting, and then as the dreamt, we perceive it as if it's a real place. Yeah. Why argue with that? Just so you're not the dreamt. Instead of trying to convince the dreamt not to see what it sees real as unreal, just fucking see the unreality of the dreamt. It's much easier. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a sinking back, because I stopped like literally like I'm not that, I'm not this, that's not me, da 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 da. And it's more like I went the other way, and it was more like, oh, there's sentience, and then wow, that.
Yeah.
This,
whatever way it goes is temporary, because whatever is on the way is no way. So yeah, so it's going to jump off a way pretty fast. Yeah.
yeah.
The way may be useful, and no, but to the no way is what's relied on. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I got to ask, we have someone asking here too. So Tommy has a thing.
I was just saying, but the dreamt, knowing what you're not, the dreamt is still going to live out the role of the dreamt.
Of course.
And no one knows what that may look like.
Especially the dreamt. Yes.
But you know that.
Yes.
Right.
Which allows it to go a little lighter. Yeah. Yeah, because it's not about taking life not seriously, it's taking self not serious. Yeah. And then you'll see how serious life is or isn't. Yes. But there'll be certain convinced ideas, which is you're always here and everything like that. Yes.
I guess I'm saying, and if a tiger jumps out of the bushes, run.
That's right. Yes.
Or if you're ready,
I mean, you may not be, but as a dreamt, you're gonna run.
The funny thing is, you would think so, but your dreamt may stay, and then you'll have an idea. What an asshole! I should have ran.
Or you wanted to bring the movie to a close. I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea. I love when we're trying to practice, a rehearsal in that last moment. I've seen when I've been in a situation that's not familiar to the head, it jumps ship. Like when I had COVID in Italy, the chest was burning, and my head went through all the other illnesses it ever had, and it wasn't familiar. It said, bye-bye, just jump ship. Then there was no thought. I was just laying there. And then, as when the thing, the thing blew over, it put the hat on again. Oh, aye, Captain. Came back. Hey, wait a minute. You fucking jumped ship earlier. Oh, no. So, yeah. Yeah. So, of course, we're action figures. This is the thing. See, people, when they hear that they're not a doer, they think, I'm going to just lay on the couch for 24 hours. Have you? You've not been a doer your whole life. There was doing going on. There's never been a doer. It's not like it stopped and now you're in a phase of not doing. You've never been a doer. It's like, there you are with the dog, and now you're obsessed with the tail. the tail's been made up and it's stuck in, and you're missing the whole experience of the dog by thinking that it's represented by the fucking tail. Yeah, so hopefully it runs its course. You get smacked well enough, and then you run into an understanding. Maybe you'll run into the understanding of non-duality whichever way it works. Maybe you'll run into the understanding of non-duality at a non-duality meeting. I don't know, but this is an easier, softer way. Yeah, and the support of satsang is incredible. It is. It's incredible that we, after heard, we've all heard with the greatest sound, "Stairway to Heaven." So when we all start humming it, it sounds pretty fucking. Yeah, it's like conjures it up all the time. It's nice, isn't it? It's nice to feel so light on a Saturday in up here in Nevada. We have a beautiful day, and we got to go. Yes, we got to go outside. All right. Hey,
You hear me okay?
what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I just wanted to add a clarification that within the, when you say a man standing in the river selling water, within the distinction of selling and giving, you're more like a man standing in the water, giving water, to those that think that it needs to be given to, especially in the context that you like your merchant stuff, like you like selling books and t-shirts and you like your thrift shop deals. So thank you for the model of giving it away and not selling it.
Yeah, see, yes, exactly. Yes, I'm selling water in the river. I mean, giving it away. Oh, yeah.
Trying to give it away.
I'm trying to give it exactly. But everyone leaves dry. I can't understand. I give them water and they're still dry, seemingly.
Thirsty.
All this is going to be forgotten. You're going to be the clearest, most enlightened person while you're asleep. Not as a person. So you only have a few hours. Be happy. Really, be happy. Can you imagine if someone could promise, all your concerns, everything, your body, the bad knee, everything that's concerning you will be forgotten. You'd pay a lot of fucking money for it. You just got to go to sleep. Yeah, maybe have a Tempur-Pedic. It's a Tempur-Pedic. Yeah, we should have satsang beds. Yeah,
Water beds.
Yeah, we're gonna pillows definitely. Satsang pillows. We'll have a little hands in the movement of bitch slap, and you lay your head on there, and at night you'll be getting bitch slapped. How's that? That's not bad.
People can claim they slapped all night.
That'd be good. So, hey, listen, I'm gonna go. Let's say goodbye to everyone. Nor I can't say goodbye to. He's right here, so I'll see him later. Amelia's right here. Roman, you're here in spirit, Roman. You're one of our, yeah. When you meet Roman, you're always in Rome, wherever you are. Yes, yes, it's very good. Terry and Camarillo, nice to see you, Terry. Andre, I don't, this is Miak, there she is. The old gang is here, Miak. There's Chris and everyone. Matthew, the dog. Everyone, yeah. Let's see, we've got Andre, Vlad, everyone, Vlad's here. Portugal. Yes, yeah. Vlad. Yeah, Vlad, yep. Kathleen. Nice to see you, Vlad, as always. Yeah, we're going to be going to Portugal, Vlad. Don't worry. Yeah. No doubt. Kathleen in Florida, I think. Nice to see you, honey. Yeah. Satsang will always make every day better. Yes, there you go. Alan O, nice to see you, Alan. Saraswati. Yeah, Saraswati. What a pleasure to have Saraswati show up in our group. Very nice. Let me see if I can move this.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. We got Don O'Connor. Yes, he's not. I can know one thing about Don's location. It's not a Vipassana retreat. That's true. Very good. Yeah. We got Miss Amelia, Zoe Banks. Zoe in Japan. How is Zoe doing in Japan?
It's wild and woolly here in Japan.
Oh, is it?
It's good. It's good. It's a roller coaster getting used to everything.
Yeah, it's an experience, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you can always come back, bypass Arkansas and come to Northern California.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a pilgrimage.
Oh, good, good, good. Let us know.
I will.
Seriously. All right. David Bitterman, always a pleasure, Dave. Kathleen, Esther. Esther's good and good. Oh, she's doing well. Yes, good. Steve, San Diego. Topher, he has returned. Rob M. in Massachusetts. Lynn, always a pleasure. Ben, Jules on vocals. Christine in Kona. We'll have to visit Kona, honey. Go back there. Yeah. Miss Amelia there. Let's see, hold on. Go back to one. Oh, there's Kenneth. Nice to see Kenneth. Nice to see you. John K. We got oh, there's Nora and Tommy on the Zoom also. Let's see. We've got Axel, Kenneth, John K. Sherry. Nice to see Sherry in San Diego. Mike Clark. Thank you, Mike, for everything. Mike, as always, Mike Z. Bill Churchman, Vlad, Kathleen, everyone. Hey, thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Wow.